Camera settings explained, basic landscape photography settings. For sharp landscapes that are in focus from the very front of the scene to the distant background, you'll want to use a narrow aperture, which is represented by a large f number like f8, f11, f16, f22, f32 if your lens has got it. A narrow aperture creates a deep depth of field, or depth of sharpness, as I of course like to call it, because that's what it is. And this ensures that most, if not all, of your scene remains sharp. But because narrow apertures let in less light, you will often find you need a slower shutter speed to get a correct exposure. And this is where a tripod comes into use, as we discussed in episode 210 and many others. Using a tripod allows you to use very slow shutter speeds without any camera shake, and that gives you pin-sharp images in low light. And for ISO, always use the lowest possible setting, which is typically ISO 100, to keep your images clean, free of digital noise and rich in detail. See, when you go from the lowest native or base ISO and increase it, what you're doing is you are digitally amplifying the signal that gets through to the sensor. And the more you do that, the higher the risk of bad stuff happening. Don't want to get too technical here. So the combination of narrow aperture, slow shutter speed, low ISO, camera on a tripod, this is the foundation for sharp, high-quality landscape photos. You need to pick a focus point carefully to ensure you got all the foreground and the background in focus. So photographing a third of the way into a scene is a very crude rule of thumb, but it works. There's tables and apps and stuff you can get to work this out. Worth checking out, actually, because getting a sharp photo is our priority. It always is. And yes, although I call it depth of sharpness, depth of field is fine for landscape photography because you could be in a field. The small details,